This region around the Great Lakes has been called the heartland. When it comes to agriculture, there's hardly an area in the world that compares.
Everybody, just hold on. I don't know what we're going to have here.
That's what brings the viewers back. That a boy.
Manage money, piling in.
Double digits higher.
So at this point, we're in kind of uncharted territory.
There's a lot of money on the sidelines.
So that was a crazy one.
Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, July 25th, and this is the AgYield War Room. I'm Dan Dempsey, and I'll be moderating today's session. As always, if you get any questions or comments, please feel free to drop us a line in the chat area, and we'll be sure to get to it during the show. Overnight markets here had September corn down 2.5 at $3.99 1/4. August soybeans were down 6.5 at $9.97 3/4. And September Chicago wheat was down 4 at $5.37 We had a number of export sales announcements out here this morning. First one, 102,870 metric tons of corn to Mexico. That was for 25. 140,000 metric tons of corn to South Korea, also for 25. And lastly, 142,500 metric tons of soybeans to Mexico for 25. What we know here this morning, good rain system moved through the upper Midwest overnight. We also, looking this morning, Central Illinois is getting another system that's kind of rolling through as we speak. Kind of a head fake yesterday on the export sales announcements. Initially reported out of China, moved to South Korea. I know that had some people in the industry shaking their heads. And then lastly, news this morning that about half of the USDA employees in Washington are getting relocated, and they're looking at some consolidation of NAS. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with NAS. Are they going to consolidate some of the reporting that's done? It would be interesting to see. So with that, we made it to the end here, guys. Let's jump right in. I guess, Justin, we were talking before the show. Every time we look at the radar, we got rain. So it's hard to talk about weather, but at the same time, maybe a few thoughts here as we wrap up the week, and then we'll throw around the room.
Yeah, I don't think anything different than, kind of what we've been discussing, where we've had, these rallies, and we're still in a bear market for now, and the weather's continues to be favorable for, a lot of producers. So, especially, Illinois West looks really, really good. We keep raining. We're pollinating in a lot of areas now that have, really favorable conditions. So, we're probably 3 weeks away from where we'll start getting some of the crop tours, that I like to follow, the ones that, kind of local areas that really know, what their county should look like, different co-ops and different organizations like that. You'll have Pro Farmer Tour, middle August. So, next few weeks there'll be a lot of counting, actually going in, pulling back ears, doing counts. So, kind of look forward to seeing what, everything looks great right now for sure. It'll be nice to see, when we get in there, what does it look like? Obviously there's been some pollination issues. It's really hard to kind of quantify if it's a factor at all or not, so I've seen stuff that's, very minimal, but seems pretty widespread. Kind of an interesting thing of like when, was it a very small window of stuff that was planted during that time frame? It's been across multiple brand seed companies, that at least from guys that I've talked to, and it kind of ranges from a non-event at all to some decently damaged field. So probably not an overall factor when you're raining like this. You're getting good moisture. It's going to more than offset that most likely. But I don't know enough to know exactly what that means.
Sure. Dustin, share a few thoughts. That head fake to China yesterday was kind of annoying, to say the least. But I guess, what are your thoughts here as we wrap up the week?
Yeah, it's what a thing, right? Like, it's like you have one job. No, it's
well, I just want to know, like, how do you determine the country? Like, did you just look at the guy and say, like, China, or like there has to be a better reporting system?
Yeah, I mean,
there might not be, Justin. To be fair, there might not be.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, we've had this before where there's been significant cancellations and they're reported as sales or vice versa. So it's it's not uncommon for those mistakes to come out of that. But so anyway, I think that's the initial support yesterday was obviously redacted after they came out and redacted that it was really South Korea buying, not China, which would be very exciting to see. Weather, I mean, worst drought ever, right? We've got like 140% of normal rain coming right through the heart of the belt. Like it's perfect conditions, it looks like, for the moment. I think that the tassel wrap is interesting because normally we would look at that and say, oh, well, the market's just trying to hold on to one thing that's bullish. Yet anecdotally, we're hearing it from so many people in our customer base that they have some form of it. So I will say that it seems pretty prevalent so far, and we're still getting through pollination to really kind of find out what that means. Interestingly enough, though, I'm still hearing like, even with that in areas that have pollinated, like expectations are still really strong. So that will just be one variable that we'll probably continue to be talking about in the next couple of weeks. As far as like, how does this all play out? Obviously, more bushels are always welcome by individual growers. If you're thinking about like support programs, the lower we go, the stronger those programs get. PLC especially. So, and this is a unique year where we're getting the higher of either PLC or our county automatically because of the reconciliation bill changes after the elections. So they're providing that. So if it's going to go lower, like let's go find that demand, right? Like let's actually build a demand base from lower prices and try to use this. And because there are a lot of ways to still come out ahead of this with lots of bushels. So.
Very good. And you referenced China, what we talked about a number of times. Next week will be interesting as well. Secretary Bessent meeting in Stockholm with Chinese officials next week. So, hopefully we're grinding towards some sort of a deal. We'll see what that means for us. But
yeah, I mean, if it comes with minimum purchases, like, I remember the first time I think it was early January 2020 when the first phase 1 trade deal was announced, and everyone kind of was like, that's never going to happen. And then COVID hit. So it was almost kind of brushed under the rug. Like no one took it seriously, just like they didn't take the trade war seriously at first, in April 2018, when that was first announced. It wasn't really till June where beans really started taking a big dive. I think the market just took time to actually make it real. I would think that at least we're set up differently now to expect China to probably fulfill, especially early in a Trump term. If they do ink a deal with some sort of trade minimums, like take that at face value. So I think the market will. That's, I guess, my point.
Oh, very good. Ben, I know you're not in the East this morning, but I guess give us some insights and what your thoughts are here.
It's good to see flash sales on this break. We're going to have to do significant export business. The excitement yesterday of maybe some China news was quickly debunked. We need to see them show up. I think that they probably domestically have room to purchase corn. U.S. corn is the cheapest in the world, landed in Asia out of the PNW. So I would expect people to keep just dipping in here like we've seen the last couple of days. Maybe not massive, huge sales amounts, but I think that when you see where corn is at today, that it creates a lot of value for the end user. And should we grind lower, I think we'll see that ramp up. And it was interesting to see even some old crop sales yesterday, this late in the game, headed to South Korea. So we're positioned to do business. We need the business, and I think we need to clear up some bureaucracy hurdles in order to get people excited about it. I mean, when you're buying corn today, under the cost of production for most producers, it would make sense that they would continue to own it if you need it. So we're in a position to do that business. Most likely we have a record volume crop coming at a minimum, probably record by a long shot in a lot of places. But we also came off of a record safrinha crop, record U.S. crop, and there's going to be some adjustments higher, I think, and some global numbers, but it's still going to put us back to, similar probably to last year in the end, following two really good crop. So people will continue to use corn, and right now we're positioned to be the supplier of that.
Very good.
Yeah, I mean, that's, well, just to add to that, like that's, you know, if we're trading big yields, that's kind of a classic market for that, right? You keep grinding lower and keep doing more and more business. They'll buy it the whole way down, you know, and
Until someone's like, wow, we really just did a ton of business. And then we turn around and people realize that maybe we sold too much too cheap.
Well, I
I
mean,
think it's
I like
interesting.
Justin always puts it great. The price for export, right? That's the job.
Yep.
yeah, I
Well,
mean,
and I
if
think
you,
it's
you know,
interesting.
go ahead, man.
You look at South America's what 50-60% through harvest, and they've seen a nice rally internally on prices. So they're saying we've done what we've had to do. We're going to back off a little bit, maybe coming out of a tough situation last year where they got really tight on corn. People are going to step back a little bit. So I think we're well positioned to do a lot of business. But ultimately, when you have as much penciled in for China as you do on our balance sheets to keep it reasonable, we have to see that business show up, and I think that's going to take a little stronger results out of Washington to get that done. And I think that when we do, uh, things get up maybe a little more dynamic in time. It's not going to be today. It's not going to be tomorrow, but people will continue to buy lower corn market values.
Very good. I guess one last thing before we move over to Ryland, Justin, looking at North Dakota came out. They had their crop tour for the wheat, and I tell you what, they came in below estimates, and they're like 10 bushel below where the USDA is projecting them, and wheat still struggles. So,
Well, I was talking with some guys yesterday about this. Spring wheat, I don't even know how to get a quote on it anymore. It's
Yeah.
they changed like where they clear through.
Yeah.
It was already thin. I think the changes they made are even worse. So as far as like a speculator, even when we try to hedge positions for growers in those areas has been difficult. Volume's been light. So that spring wheat that they're obviously touring up there and looking at, versus the other classes of wheat. So I don't even know what spring wheat's doing today. Maybe it's up, maybe it's down. It's kind of become untradeable over the last few years. So unfortunately, that's the one that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And usually, as far as wheat's concerned, that's probably more of an inter-commodity spread, spring wheat gaining on the other classes, because it's a very specialized hard wheat. So I probably not enough to turn the overall wheat market. We've tried to turn the wheat market over, it feels like, for 5 years, and it's dog. I mean, ever since the Russian invasion of Ukraine and we had that big rally, it's been horrible ever since. So it's one of the favorite shorts of managed money because it acts like you're supposed to be shorted every day. They earn a good carry being shorted. That's the thing about even beans and corn. As they build these short positions and they get big carries, which we have, it pays a dividend for them to stay short, right? Because they get the roll to the next contract at a premium, and they love being short markets with big carries, and that's what they have right now in our contract. So that's always a hard trend to buck too. When they're earning that much carry to stay short, it's hard to flip that position unless they get forced to.
Sure.
Right. Opposite with inverses, right? When you got really tight markets, they love being long the front end, and then they can roll at an inverse, and it's the opposite. No.
Very good. All right, let's move over to Ryland here quickly. Right, we got a little bit of cash cattle trading, not crazy, but just a little bit, and then we've just been choppy in hogs this week. So I guess wrap it up here ahead of cattle on feed later today.
Yeah, not just cattle on feed, but the semi-annual cattle inventory report for July as well. So as we saw yesterday, maybe just a little bit of caution here just ahead of that. But overall, yeah, cash trade in the South has started to pick up 230 to 231. So it's a buck higher. I mean, it still going at this stage in the game. And we are seeing a little bit of stability in the beef market as well. So all the news is really good kind of going into this report. The futures are right at all-time record highs in feeders and pretty much sitting teetering right up there on the live cattle side as well. So we'll see what the reports say. I mean, obviously the inventory report could set a longer term precedent, and I think everybody's expecting supplies to be down pretty much 2-3% across the board, especially with the action in futures. So we'll get a glimpse of the 2025 calf crop as well. Expect that to be lower. So I think just at this point, the near-term fundamentals are still going to be kind of the guiding factor here right now. So the optimism is still here. It's holding, and maybe some things change here after the report. So we'll give you some thoughts and feelings about that on Monday. But yeah, in the hog market, you still made a new high for the move. It's on this nice little rally. Cash market was a little bit weaker here. It does kind of feel like you've traded a lot of good news kind of going into the weekend. Wouldn't mind, or at least wouldn't be surprised to see cash actually trade a little bit lower here. We're starting to get in that more seasonally vulnerable kind of time frame. But at this point, it seems like you kind of baked in all the really good cash news, supportive cutout. So we need to see some more follow through, I think, to keep this thing going for the time being.
All right, very good, fellas. We made it to the end. Another week in the books, and let's kick it over to Brian for a Fun Fact Friday and see what he's got for us.
Thanks, and happy Friday, everybody, and a very special Friday indeed. Not only with the release of Happy Gilmore 2, but the world premiere music video of Tassel Rap. So stay tuned after Friday Fun Fact for a little clip of what is in store. So let's look at some crazy laws that are people continue to break, and frankly, I can't believe these laws still exist. So let's start off in Alabama. It's illegal to dress up a chicken as a priest. This dates back to the 1800s. It's a blasphemy law that they break. So Ryland, when you head back to the Bama shores, please be careful.
Yeah, I'll keep my chickens away from the cloth.
Then we'll go to Florida. No ice cream in your back pocket on Sundays. Monday through Saturday, you're fine, but Sunday, do not put ice cream in your back pocket. To our growers in Minnesota, it's illegal to cross state lines with a duck on your head. So those growers we know in Minnesota will be trying to get into Wisconsin with a duck on your head.
I think I know what they're talking about. Yeah.
We know a couple guys.
We'll head over to Georgia. It's illegal to keep a donkey in your bathtub after 7 p.m. But
Wow.
up until 7,
then, you're good.
You're good to
All
go.
right.
So just make sure that donkey's out of your bathtub by 7.
Word of the wise.
Yes. South Dakota, horses must wear pants in a theater. A man brought a mini horse into a cinema with a cowboy hat and saddle, but no pants. He ended up getting a citation for the horse being underdressed. And then lastly, we'll head over to Nebraska. It's illegal for barbers to eat onions between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m.
Thank God.
Right? I think we all agree that every state should adopt this law. That'd be great for everybody. And without further ado, the premiere showing of Tassel Rap. Hit it, Gav.
Let's go.
Is Gavin working for the USDA now?
Hit it, Gav.
Gav?
Yeah.
Go for Gav. Go for Gav.
Don't make Brian improv.
Yeah. You're going to have to do it now.
We're gonna have this.
Oh, is that the only clip we saw?
That's the shortest premiere of all time.
Wow.
Wow.
That was great.
Here's the deal. Tassel Rap in its entirety is going to premiere at 9 o'clock Central Time on all social medias for AgYield, including YouTube Live. So that, as you can imagine, we're not a rap production company. So,
Yeah.
and it's a live show. So
that was like the smallest teaser of
Right.
of all time.
Yeah, that's all you got.
come on, everybody.
Yeah.
So, anyway, please tune in to all of AgYield social medias here this morning for the full Tassel Rap video, and I'm sure it'll make its way into War Room again at some point. Let's get a quick readout here. Markets are open. September corn down 1 3/4 right now, $4 even. August soybeans are off 5, $9.99 1/4. and September Chicago wheat's down 4 at 537.5. We appreciate everybody that tunes in on a daily basis. If you wouldn't mind, throw us a like and certainly subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything to do so. It'll keep you up to speed on everything that's going on with the AgYield. So again, thanks to everybody that supports the show. We're doing this live every day that the markets are open on X, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live at 8:15 Central Time. Appreciate the thoughts and comments here this morning, guys. It was a good show. Hope everybody has a great weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.
The War Room is proudly presented by AgYield. For over 50 years, the AgYield team has provided grain marketing and risk management solutions for growers across the country. Our veteran consultants harness cutting-edge technologies to pinpoint risk, optimize market performance, and protect your farm's profitability. Discover a new approach to farm revenue management at agyield.com.
Hey guys, Jack here. Be sure to support the show by hitting the like button, leaving us a comment, and subscribing to the channel for all the latest updates. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.